Hello and welcome to Roll for Topic. You are listening to part 2 of our Build a Dungeon, Play a Dungeon. This is the actual play of the dungeon that we built on the last episode. If you want to, you can go ahead and hit pause, go listen to that, and then come back to this one and sort of, see the whole process from start to finish. Or you can just listen to this one, or you can listen to this one and then that one, whatever you want to do. It's totally up to you. But this is sort of our holiday treat to ourselves. We do this every year. It's been a lot of fun. I think this is year five of doing it, and it's always a blast. So before we get into the adventure itself, we're going to kind of go around. All the players are going to introduce themselves. So we have 5 people here today. So we're going to introduce yourselves and also tell us a little bit about the character that you're going to be playing in this, and then we will get into the adventure proper. That is my preamble. Oh, I guess I should say my name is Chris Salzman. I'll be your game master today. All right, I'm just gonna go. So on my screen, I see Brandon. You're up in the top left. So why don't you kick us off?
All right. I am Brandon Caruth. I am playing Ed, the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Okay.
His hobby is model trains. He's very into them.
Okay. I love it. Cool. And then anything about like Ed's appearance that we should know about?
The costume that Ed has to wear as part of the job of being the Sugar Plum Fairy is not very well suited to him.
Mm-hmm.
The tutu that is part of the costume no longer has an elastic, so it's safety pinned directly to his trousers.
Okay.
And the makeup that he has been wearing for the last several weeks, he is now discovering he believes he has an allergic reaction to. So he is now very rosy cheeked. That's not makeup. That's just the rash and what he looks like now.
That is just Ed's skin. Maybe forever. Okay. Love it. All right. Let's see. We got Abby next.
Yeah, I'm Abby. Use she, her pronouns. My character is Danielle. She will be the shepherd for this adventure. And her hobby is sort of horsemanship of any kind. She is your typical horse girl.
Nice.
So, show riding. She'll do game competitions, like pretty much anything that involves her horse. And she pretty much takes this job because it's like a low time in horse showing. So she can actually, make some money while there's not shows going on. But she does still show up for every shift with her horse boots under her shepherd's robe.
Nice.
Usually varying degrees of muddy from coming from an indoor barn somewhere.
That is wonderful. So I should actually back up just a step. So the sort of the conceit for this is that all of you are playing mall employees who work at or nearby the Meet Santa like display at the local mall, the Prudence Valley Mall. So the shepherd, we kind of determined beforehand, there's like a living nativity that the local megachurch kind of puts on. And then, so Danielle, I guess, is part of that, is the shepherd.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Joe.
I am Joe Jevons, use they, them pronouns. I'm playing Alex. She is one of the Christmas Santa elves. Her costume is way too big for her. She's not a tall person, but they gave her like an extra large, so the sleeves are like really rolled up and everything. Her hobby is origami, and so she's been tasked with every time the kids kind of like ruin all of the decorative wrapped presents, she has to like rewrap them really quick. So her hands have kind of become pretty paper cut by this point in the season.
Yeah, calloused and paper cut. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's great. All right, Joel.
Hi. So I'm Joel. I use he, him. My character's name is Bartholomew Kibblesmith. He is delighted to be in the role of a lifetime as the Granch.
Okay.
That's the Granch, mind you. It's very copyright-wise important. It's a purple, angry, Christmas-hating character that is no correlation to anything else. You may remember me from the Prudence Valley Players productions of Macbethany and A Christmas Tale and Hamilton, the musical. Prior to that, you probably know I had a 7-year residence as a Times Square Elmo understudy before I came to Prudence Valley to return to my roots. Bartholomew has a big white beard and it's kind of sticking out from underneath the Granch's like Granch mask, and assiduously did not want to be the obvious person who might have might be ideal for a white bearded person in this scenario.
Yeah,
it is beneath him.
Does Bartholomew also have the bowl full of jelly?
Yes. Okay. The Granch costume is it's testing its limits at this point.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's great. Claire, what about you?
Hi, my name's Claire. I use she/her pronouns, and I am playing the snow person. My name is Gabe Goblin, aka the Goblin, since no one's seen Gabe's face pretty much this entire and for the entire time of working with him.
Okay.
And that is, it's just it's a very stuffed, mostly a costume from the chest up of a snowman, but then from that point down, he's just wearing sweats with they're like white sweats stuffed with stuffing.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And like little pom-poms strapped to giant, awesome rock metal boots. They're spiky and really not to the dress code, but he saved up all of his earnings working this job to get them. So
that's awesome.
By God, he'll wear them.
Of course, yeah. Okay, so Gabe, yeah.
My hobby is metal concerts, and I, Claire, am not informed. So I'm going to do my best.
That's great. Cool. I love it. This is a Motley Crue. I don't know if that was a metal reference or not, but
it is now.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm not enough of a music genre aficionado to know if they count as metal.
Yeah. Thank you all for introducing yourself. Yeah, I'm very excited to sort of see where this goes. All right, so this adventure, the title of it is Other Duties as Assigned, Saving Christmas. I mentioned to you before, while you're picking your pre-gens and stuff like that, I had mentioned to you, right, that like this is Christmas Eve. So we're starting on Christmas Eve. So I'm going to read kind of a block of text here that will get us all set up for the adventure. You are hurtling through the sky, cocooned inside a glass globe, watching cities and landscapes blur together. Just seconds ago, you were working inside the Prudence Valley Mall at the Meet Santa event. It was just about to close when a lone kid, all by himself, jumped up on Santa's lap with a worried expression on his face. Please, my magic is failing, and it looks like you are our only hope. The elves have lost their Christmas spirit, and Santa has locked himself in his room and is planning on skipping Christmas. I have magic left to send you to the North Pole, and only that. Go, now. He waved his little hands and encased you in the globe. While it started to spin, you watched him collapse and then lurch back to his feet, his eyes looking dead, and start to tear at the decorations of the Meet Santa exhibit with a vacant look on his face. You feel the globe begin to rise up in the air and start to fly off. As you're watching, everything just kind of like blur together like that. You're trying to figure out where you're going. You're all kind of jumbled up inside of this thing. It kind of looks like a giant snow globe that you're inside at this point. It's going and going, and then all of a sudden you sort of hit this like snowy expanse, like you can see sort of below you, and then the globe starts to slow and cracks and breaks, and you all fall out. But you find yourself falling gently as snowflakes, and you as you're falling, you can see sort of where you're about to land. It looks like there's a cabin just sort of in the middle of nowhere, and there's a bunch of like little creatures sort of running around. Looks like they're almost like attacking it. So you land on top of this cabin, sort of out in the middle of nowhere in the snowy expanse. But that's not the only thing that's strange about this. As you look around, you start to notice that your coworkers, it seems like they've changed themselves. All these costumes that they were wearing have almost become real. You look over at Gabe and you see that snowman costume has developed kind of like a second and a third ball, and Gabe looks exactly like Frosty. He's kind of like this animated character. The eyes are still cold, they're still sort of dead, you can't really see them. That's what Gabe is looking like. You look over at the Granch, and suddenly that purple costume looks kind of almost like it's part of who Bartholomew is. Alex's elf costume, it's still a little bit big, but you can notice that everything has like little like jingle bells on all like the little corners and stuff like that. The hat's perkier finally. Danielle, that shepherd's crook that you were holding looks exactly the same. If anything, it's a little bit disappointing. Danielle sort of just looks like the shepherd that she's always been dressed up as. Yeah, and Ed, the sugar plum fairy, I think, Ed, you find that the tutu is finally fitting you. Yeah, and the burning sensation in your face has gone away, but there's like this subtle glow emanating from Ed that you can see as you look over at him.
Is Ed the same size? Or is Ed like Tinkerbell sized?
Ed is Tinkerbell sized.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
That's a dangerous thing to be out in the cold.
Yes, it's very dangerous.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so as you're kind of getting your bearings, you're on top of this like this sort of unstable roof in the middle of like what looks to be like the deepest winter. You can start hearing all these like small voices from below you saying, "Bah, hum, bug." What do you do?
The voices are below us?
Yes.
Like on the ground of the...
Yeah, you saw them. I think you probably saw them as you're falling in. Like there's these like kind of creatures or these things kind of moving around outside there.
I have an important question that's going to affect my choices from this point forward. Do I have arms?
And are they made of twigs?
That is an incredible question. Yeah, you have twig arms. So
Okay.
what I will say is, right, so they can articulate sort of like a joystick coming off of your arm, if you will, right? But you will not be able to like grab anything, but you can kind of move them. So you could point if you wanted to.
And probably no boots, because I really liked those boots.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. I should say your boots are there, right? So sorry, so Abby, like, right, Danielle's boots are there. Claire, like, Goblin's boots are there, right? But they're sort of like underneath everything as well.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Yeah. Cool.
They're like penguin feet, just like barely sticking out from under that.
Yes.
Snowball.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I think I, for a second, hearing the first syllable of these creatures' cries, go, "Oh my gosh, amazing. A shepherd's time to shine. We are surrounded by sheep. This is perfect." And then I sort of process the humbug part.
Oh, no.
Go, okay. So I might try to like approach. Is this like a slanted roof? Like if I get closer to the edge, am I in danger of falling off?
Yeah, I guess, if you look around, right, so it's like a slanted roof, right, like a, I don't know, 45-degree pitch, right? Like, so imagine sort of a log cabin that a child would draw, right? So that's sort of what it looks like, right? There's a chimney up there if you look around a little bit. So it's like a chimney. There's like a very weak smoke coming out of it. It's not like billowing or anything like that. Like a little bit of smoke coming out of that. Like there's snow on top of the roof, like that. Like if you were to not be careful, you could slip and fall off of this. Okay, so you approach the edge to look down?
Yeah, I'd probably try not to get too close to like the steepest part, or like have a hand hooked around the chimney or something, or maybe my crook, I guess, depending on if I can get purchased. But,
okay.
Just try to take a lay of the creatures below us and figure out what they are.
Yeah, I think this is relatively easy, right? Like, you think you can do that. So you can look down and you see what looks like all the world, like a bunch of elves, kind of like saying "bah humbug" like that, and just sort of like clawing at the cabin, clawing at each other like that, almost like they're zombies.
Okay.
Brandon,
this isn't good, y'all. This is not good. I'm the size of a Snickers bar. If anything goes wrong, I am toast. And they look hungry. Danielle, do you see anything? Is there a door? Like, is there a way in? Is there a window? Wait,
there's a chimney.
There's a chimney.
Hang on.
You could definitely fit well, but there's also smoke coming out the chimney.
But
I'm not going down the chimney, to be clear.
No. Okay, you would melt in a heartbeat. Hang on, I want to try something. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to concentrate, and I'm going to give a little hop up, and I'm going to see if I can fly. I'm going to suss it out. We're going to see if I'm an actual fairy with flight, or if I'm just like a brownie.
Yeah, here's what I'm gonna say. you need to roll, and I think I would call this probably a nice roll, unless you can tell me that this is part of your hobby somehow.
I don't think that attempting flight necessarily plays in with being a model train enthusiast.
No, I don't think it does.
I don't think it does. No. Ooh. Chris, you're going to love it. This is my gift to you. First roll of the game. It's a 1.
Amazing.
Oh, Brandon, this is why we invite you on these. So Ed takes like a tentative like hop and a leap, and I think you do like the ballet jump, right? So like back foot out, like kind of almost touching your head. You're probably way more flexible than you were before, right? So like it is a gorgeous leap, and like you feel like there's these wings behind you, and they kind of like flutter, and you hover there for like just a second, and then everything goes bad. You kind of flip and you land and you start to slide down the roof. You are now sliding and you're about to fall down the roof unless someone
so
helps
for
you.
the sake of flavor, Ed now weighs so little he can't sink into the snow, so he's just slipping on the surface of the snow,
just skidding on it.
Oh boy,
like a luge, just right off.
I think I was probably closest to the edge from trying to peer over, so I'll see if I can throw my crook in front of me and catch little Ed in the hook of it to keep him from going off the edge.
Yeah, I think you don't even have to roll for that. That sounds it sounds pretty straightforward, right? So you just you just kind of unhook it and land it in front. So Ed, you grab on. We're just kind of like nestle it there, and you can clamber your way back up.
Turns out it takes birds a while to learn, not because they're dumb. It actually is hard.
Yes.
So,
this is insight I wouldn't have without this.
As I say, while this has been happening, Bartholomew is trying to come to terms with what's happening, and he, even in his Granch costume, wore like a cell phone belt type attachment type thing.
Yes.
And so his agent could get a hold of him at any point in time. That has somehow become a part of his being now.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to call, get at this thing to call to see if he can't get an Uber out of here or something like that. But that doesn't seem to have worked because he cannot get his phone. So he's sitting there with his fingers have become long and like string in. He's sitting there with his pursed lips, just trying to ponder.
Yeah, what does that feel like for Bartholomew, right? So Bartholomew is very used to getting into character, wearing costumes and things like that. What does it feel like to have the costume just be who you
are? Bartholomew has realized the ultimate method acting dream, which is he has embodied his character so fully that this is his next level acting challenge or acting opportunity, I guess. He's like, I have become the Granch. Now I must understand the Granch.
Okay.
And he's oblivious to whatever has just happened on the side of the roof.
Yeah, so Bartholomew.
If you are the Granch, like the human embodiment of like all the like not liking Christmas stuff, maybe like because the elves down there are all saying bah humbug. Maybe you're like their leader.
Oh.
Yes, of course. This makes perfect sense.
I honestly don't know if you're like aligned with our goals here. And I just got here, but
to be clear, we all just got here.
We did all just get here.
Time.
I just got here and now I'm made out of snow, but I don't trust you, I think.
Yeah, I clearly did get off best, but I am also still a little surprised that I am suddenly somewhere much snowier and out of doors and magical, presumably, than the mall that we were all just closing down.
Joe, so what does Alex want to do?
I think Alex has been kind of also in shock. Like, I think her ears have gone a little pointy and her shoes are like jangly, and she's just been kind of like standing like in a slightly different body.
Mhm.
And like as this conversation breaks out, it's like, right, things are happening. What is this? It's like kind of gonna look over at the edge of the roof and be like, so Bartholomew, do you want to go talk to them?
Yes, I will accept this challenge. And Bartholomew, I think, confidently strides towards down this pitched
Oh boy.
angled roof.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I will. I'll talk. I'll talk with them. So I want to walk down there and kind of look and see what I can see.
Okay. Yeah. So, what is your approach to talking to them? I guess are you are you rolling intimidation? Or are you like, yeah? How are you going to do this?
Did I get a description of what was down there already from?
Yeah, a little bit, right? So, like, if you peek down there, right? Like, so there's sort of a bunch of elves milling around. It's like, it's not like a World War Z number of like elf zombies, right? It's 50
just to choose a
like it's
analogy.
like 50 elves, right? Like, so their costumes, their clothes are all torn up, and they're just kind of like milling around and like Klein at the cabin.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look over, and I see especially the costumes. I'm about to address them, and then I turn around to the group and I say, my friends, they are not in costume. I don't think that these are my people. They seem a little perturbed. Shall I talk with them?
Quick question. Does Alex the elf look like these elves?
Yes. Although not like a zombie version.
But
Phew.
I think Gabe was going to look at the elves down there and then look at Alex and then look at Bartholomew and say, okay, they're not in costume. We're not in costume, I don't think. But that doesn't mean we can't act. Alex, maybe Bartholomew can teach you how to pretend to be whatever those elves are, which is, I think, sad.
And Gabe, have you ever wanted to direct?
And when Gabe, when you said maybe Bartholomew can teach you, his eyes just light up.
Oh.
My friends, you have come to the right person.
A lot of choice up here, so.
Okay. Appreciate it. I can act sad. Trust me, lots of experience. But so the kid who put us in a snow globe said that the elves have lost their Christmas spirit and Santa wants to skip Christmas. So do you think Santa's in here? And I'm gonna point down like to the building that we're standing on. Like, do we have to just talk to Santa?
A great question. I will also point out that we don't know how these elves lost their Christmas spirit. If it's like an infectious disease, maybe you should actually stay very far away from them.
Dang it. That's a really good point.
It may be that a Christmas production could restore their Christmas spirit.
They're right.
How are you all at set building?
Real bad.
I've got some experience.
I think we need to go straight to just Black Box chorus line if this is going where I think it's going. I think it has to be theater of the mind.
This might be the perfect setting already, actually, for whatever Christmas spirit play. Alternatively, can we revisit the chimney idea? Because you're really small, Ed.
That is
and
true.
You can't fly, but you could just sort of fall down there.
Oh. What if there's
Gently,
fire at the bottom?
Gently fall down there.
I'm sure Ed will figure out how to fly on the way down.
Oh boy.
I have a thought. I have a thought though.
Okay.
Who currently has like the thickest shoe? Because if we throw a shoe down,
it's definitely me.
I jump down and try to learn to fly. If I biff it, I could land on the shoe, and if there's coals down there, which I think there might be, I wouldn't be burned because I'm on a shoe.
Okay, that's
alternatively we could put snow down the chimney to put out whatever's burning.
Oh, okay. These are good thoughts. I could, depending on how wide this opening is, I'll go up to it and try to fit my crook into it and see if I could like at least lower him part of the way towards the bottom, so he doesn't have to go the whole length of the chimney.
Yeah. Like what? I don't know my standard crook sizes. What is it like? 8 feet? 6 feet? Yeah.
Probably like 6. I don't think it's that much taller than a person usually. I think it's like a little taller than a person.
Usually 22.3 imperial feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you got it.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a couple ideas. So one is to toss Ed down there. Another is to maybe drop some snow in there, or maybe the crook. I guess you want to just do all three. Do you want to put Ed on the crook and lower Ed down?
Yeah, best idea is all of them smushed together. So,
okay. Yeah.
Alex, you get the snow. Ed, you're already on the crook, so just hold on tight.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I think, right. Well, okay. Let's start with. So I think you drop some snow down there, right? And you never hear it land. It just goes down and kind of vanishes down there. So while that's happening, I guess you're lowering Ed down there as well on this, and like it's just like Ed, like you're going down, and just like there's just like more chimney, like the farther down you go. Yeah.
Guys, can we stop? Can we stop, guys? It's I don't see an end. It's just really dark and kind of smoky.
It takes a second for the little voice to like bounce up the chimney back to me, but
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I'll just like pull the crook back up.
Yeah. Yeah. Ed, make a Christmas spirit roll for me.
Whew. Actually, I have more than one die for that. 7.
7. Okay, so we just take the highest number.
Okay, so that's a 4.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so with a 4, like so you're sort of like down there, and like as you're being pulled up, you hear off in the distance like some shouting down in there, and you also get like a whiff of like almost like a cookie smell or something like that as you're getting pulled up.
Yeah. So there's something to this whole like get inside the cabin thing. I mean, like reality feels really weird right now. Like we took a snow globe to the North Pole, and like,
and
it
you're
feels like there's
half tall.
Really, I'm that tall? I thought it. Oh. But like, there's a way. I know there's got to be a way into this cabin, but like, it's like the chimney is only a chimney in the way that like a little kid understands a chimney, right? Like there's no architectural reasoning to it. Like it's like the concept of a chimney, not an actual one, right?
And none of us is Santa, so probably in kid logic, none of us can go down the chimney.
Yeah.
Maybe a pessimistic kid.
Yeah.
Friends, when acting, it's important to explore the entire space. Have we looked everywhere around this roof to know
talking about breaking the roof?
The boundaries of our.
Yeah. Why don't you roll? Yeah, I guess Joel, right? Bartholomew is kind of making that statement. So why don't you be the one to look around?
Sure. Yes.
Give me a naughty roll. This feels
naughty roll.
Like
all right. So that's 2.
Snooping.
A 4.
4. Cool.
2 4s.
Oh wow. Okay. Unfortunately, there's nothing that you get out of multiple 4s, but congrats. All right, yeah. So you look around. You're able to kind of like walk around the perimeter, right? So you can see, right, there's all those elves and stuff. There's no windows. There's no doors on this thing at all. It looks pretty airtight, other than the chimney there. I also note, sort of as you're walking around, it feels like it's getting colder out here.
Well, assuming that Bartholomew portrays that information to the rest of us.
Loudly.
Yeah.
With much bravado.
Yes.
Assuming that our options are go join the zombie elves to see if we can reason with zombie people, or see if magic will just let us all squeeze into this chimney. I'm actually kind of leaning towards the chimney option, surprisingly.
Okay.
I feel that.
Yeah, when you say it like that, that seems like a reasonable conclusion to draw.
I'm honestly afraid of what we'll end up doing if we.
Also,
if we
Ed did mention that he thought he smelled cookies in that chimney, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I ate like 2 hours before my shift, so I am starving. So maybe we just go see if we can get some cookies.
My friends, I did teach a pratfall seminar, so if you do need tips on landing at the end.
Sounds like a volunteer to go first.
free.
Go ahead, Bartholomew.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm earning my way off this roof real quick.
Yeah. Okay, so Bartholomew, right? Like, so you wander up there. I think you kind of climb up to the top of the chimney.
Yeah. Yep.
There is no way you can fit down here, but as you're sort of like looking at it,
I'm like,
yes, like sucking in and being like, maybe I can make it work. As you just even think that thought, it starts to expand a little bit, and it looks like it can accommodate you, and you can almost even see that there's like there's a bottom to it now.
Is there like a little glow, like the glimmer of a glow in my heart, or where my heart might be when this happens?
Legally it's not your heart, it's actually like your probably like your liver. I think the Granch's thing is the liver.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Granch seat of emotions is the liver.
Yes. Yeah.
I like it.
Perfect.
So I say, my friends, I think we must all get in the method acting, because I believed that I could go down this chimney, and then it happened.
As soon as you say, I believe I can go down this chimney, you snap and just fall straight down. Like, this is what they see. And for Bartholomew, right, like it's like almost like you're floating. You kind of just float down, and like you see that there's some like a small fire sort of approaching your feet as you're going. You just sort of slip out from under it, and you kind of land in like a little bit of puff of, I don't know, like, puff of ash, right, coming behind you. Like that.
Yeah, so that all happens. I don't know. I can't really relay. Can I shout up? I lean towards. I said it's Christmas in here. Well, I guess what do I see when I get in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bold assumptions.
That is a very
making
bold
assumptions
assumption.
here.
Yeah, let's we'll cut over to that, right? So
okay,
I want to go back to everybody up on top,
yep,
and maybe we'll start with Gabe, right? So Gabe, you just watched Bartholomew get up on top of this chimney and say, like, I think I can fit, right? And like Bartholomew just always talks that way, right? Like, and then you just sort of like you see him almost like shrink and just disappear and go down.
Okay, I'll go down, but I'm going last because I'm made out of snow.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a coward or anything. It's just like I'm made out of snow right now.
Yeah.
That's fair. I get that.
Yeah, no, very reasonable.
Yeah,
that's great.
Absolutely.
But I'm right behind all of you, so I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go next.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah.
All right. Alex jumps up there, and then tell me what your approach is.
Yeah. Alex is a small person, so I think she almost already could fit through the chimney, and so I think she just looks at it and goes, "Yeah, all right," and just kind of like jumps.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. Yeah. So you jump, and it's like as you're jumping, it almost feels like it sucks you in.
Can I listen for the sound of how long the bells are jingling?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you hear like, I don't know, 3 jingles, right? And then you don't hear another jingle.
Okay.
Cool.
There.
Well, Ed, do you want to just ride on my shoulder? I mean, there's no I'm concerned that someone might land on you if you go on your own.
I share that concern. It looks like there's a pocket on the front of your smock. I'll hang out. We'll just like kangaroo it, if that's all right.
I think that was just a patch beforehand, but the magic made it Wow, that's the one benefit
Yeah.
I get from this magic. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and fit
You
right
get-
in
you
that
get
pocket.
pockets. It has pockets. Yeah. Okay, so you both go up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'll go up there and just sort of look down at Ed as I'm looking down at the chimney, because he's kind of in my line of sight as I'm looking down, and just go, I mean, if this is happening, the chimney might as well happen. Like, Ed being an actual fairy in my pocket is way less believable than being able to fit down this chimney. So yeah. For sure.
Okay. All right, yeah. So like as you have that thought, it starts to pull you down. Yeah, and you start to go down. And then Ed, like you're going down, all of a sudden, like you're starting to get pulled out of the pocket. I guess. What do you do?
I hang on for dear life and I try to flap my little wings to accelerate downward to,
Okay.
to try to match velocity. I'm assuming this is like the ant falling and like getting disrupted from the wind and not falling to like achieve critical terminal velocity, etc.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of that, but it's also just like kind of like a belief. Like, do you believe you can go down this thing, right? And I think like as you kind of turn your wings and start to fly down, like you catch that first feeling of what it's like to be able to use those wings to fly as you're going down. And I think you pull away from the pocket a little bit, and it's like, oh, this is it. This is what I've been searching for. Yeah, and then you both kind of go down and land, and then you kind of nestle in the pocket.
Very nice.
All right, Gabe, you're all alone up there. It's getting cold, and you know that it's getting cold, but you don't really feel it, right? Like if anything, this is probably the most comfortable you've been all winter, standing up here in the swirling snow. What do you do?
I am just gonna step up to the chimney and then take a moment to admire the beautiful cold night sky before assuming, I could just melt and sort of slip down there. So there's no way this can't work, really.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just, I hope that I don't. I'm gonna go boot first.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So real quick, let's establish. So can you waddle, or do you kind of like hop?
I hop.
When you move.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like you hop.
I'm picturing it like I'm a human, like so covered in a snowman, but I have control over the little twig arms.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they go straight up, and I just sort of do a couple jumps to get started, and then slide down.
That's great.
Pogo sticking.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you get up there, and as you're kind of thinking about like, well, I could just melt, right? Like, yeah, it also pulls you down, and so you all land. Excuse me. Yeah, you all go through the chimney, and you land inside of this room. And as you're sort of looking around, I think like helping each other kind of get your bearings. You look around you, and you see that like the inside of this room is much larger than the outside of the cabin that you just came from. You are inside of a mail room. So if you can kind of imagine like basement level mail room inside of like a giant skyscraper, right? Like the ceiling's a little bit too low. Right, there's just like these gross fluorescent lights everywhere, like that. Yeah, and there is off sort of in one corner, right? This probably like a 20 by 30 room, something like that. Off in one corner is just this like comically large like chute, and there's just paper sort of flowing out of it into this big pile. And you can see that there's a couple of elves with shovels, taking shovels and putting them in the pile, and then taking them over to the other corner where there's this raging bonfire happening. In the corner there is a fire suppression system, but it's been like, right, it's like out of water at this point, right? It's like, and they're just shoveling letters, right, like into this fire.
You guys, they're shoveling Christmas wishes and dreams into a literal fire.
Are these?
Sorry, you're not supposed to laugh.
This is horrible.
Are these elves also like muttering "Bah humbug" to themselves? Like, do they seem to be sapped of Christmas spirit as well?
They are so like, if you listen a little bit, like, they're kind of muttering it, but unlike the elves that you saw outside, like it seems like these ones still have a little bit of sentience to them, if that makes sense, right? Like they're still sort of making this decision to do this. As they're doing it, they're not like yet shuffling around.
Can I look around and see, like, are there any exits immediately available from this room?
Yeah, there are two exits. They're sort of like on opposite ends, opposite ends of the room. So like, right, so you landed at like the chimney, and there's kind of two exits on the side walls, and then straight in front of you at the opposite end of the room is where the letter burning is happening.
Got it. I'll like look at everyone and say, well, we could try to chat with them and see if they know what's going on, or we could just try to make a break for it and find someone else who is less pyrotechnic right now.
Do we smell that cookie smell at all anywhere?
It's like very faint, right? It almost smells like, now that you're down here, it smells more like it's an air freshener that's being applied to everything versus like there's a plate of cookies right in front of you.
So it's not obviously coming from one or the other direction.
Nope, not obvious from here.
Okay.
You guys, I think we need to figure out a way to make them stop burning the letters.
Okay.
Because like, as much as this all feels like a fever dream, maybe the only way to get out is to like play by the rules of the fever dream. So that means that we're supposed to save Christmas, and if children's wishes are being heaped onto a raging fire, that's probably something that should stop if we're saving Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
This feels a little bit, we're accelerated into the Granch's Christmas journey, but I will step forward in the script too, because I do think that saving Christmas is a laudable goal.
Yeah, you're like post-movie Granch.
Yeah.
It's breaking new ground.
This is the sequel. Yeah.
I'll be honest. My family celebrates Hanukkah, so I'm a little lost. But I agree that I think probably saving Christmas spirit is good in the long run.
And I'm super into the winter solstice, so like it's really hard for me to not want to keep the burning going.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's fair.
Not
Maybe
what
we
we're
could
doing.
find something else to substitute for the letters to keep the bonfire going, but just not have them be children's letters.
Maybe just some olive oil.
There you go.
Despite being very Granchy, it's clear Bartholomew has his worldview has been opened up as we speak.
I'll kind of step forward as we've had this like little circle up, and just try to like essentially distract and just cry out, "Hark! I come bearing good news." Just see what happens.
Very shepherd. Yeah, they both sort of like, there's two of them, right? They stop shoveling, and they look over at you and say like, doesn't matter anyway. And they keep shoveling.
Well, tell me more about that. Why does it not matter?
One of them is going to just kind of shake his head and like, keep shoveling. The other one will stop and like put their shovel on the ground and like put their arm up on it. Like they're taking 5. It's like, I've been reading all these letters and they all say the same thing. Santa, I want Fortnite bucks. Santa, I want Roblox money. There's no Christmas spirit here anyway. They deserve to be burned.
Can I, like, while everyone's been kind of talking, can I have been like scanning the room? I want to try to find a letter that has like more to like a sincere kid's letter or something like that.
Okay, yeah. This sounds you tell me, is this a naughty or nice roll? You're stealing, but you're also trying to find something good.
I would say it's a nice roll. I'm trying to look for something nice.
Yeah, go for it.
That is a 4.
Oh, a 4. Okay. Yeah. So you kind of wander up like as they're talking. Talking, and this like one elf is just sort of going on and on. And you look and like you can spot like sort of like there's like one letter sort of poking out that looks like there's actually handwriting on it. Like all the other ones look like someone printed off like a Microsoft Word document for their letter like that. And yeah, so you can grab it out of the pile, and it says like in like, I don't know, a 6-year-old's handwriting, right? It just like it has Santa North Pole on the front, and then in the top left hand corner it says like Jimmy. Yeah. What do? Do you open it?
Yeah, I grab it, I open it, and I'm like, but what about this one? What about from Jimmy? Jimmy just wants his little brother to smile and talk because his parents are worried about him.
That's great.
What about that? That's not Fortnite bucks.
Yeah, so you open it and you read it. So I want you to give me a Christmas spirit roll.
That's my 1. So maybe Jimmy wants something else. I don't know. Nope, that's another 4.
Wow.
Another 4.
Man.
Yeah, so as you're reading this, like the elf who's like been like walking back and forth, still like shoveling stuff, kind of like stops and comes up to you and said, "Jimmy said what?" And then like he like runs out and comes running back with this like giant book that says "nice" on the front, and like he starts flipping through it, right, and finds Jimmy in there, like Jimmy wants just his brother to smile like that, and like it just totally stops, and it's just like the other elf is just kind of raging on and on about like, and they want PlayStations and they want Xbox like that, and it's like, come over here, and like looks and like shows him the letter, and they both kind of like stop and like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Yeah, and so they both stop doing what they're doing, and then they put their shovels in and they start digging through, and as they're digging through this pile, they keep on finding these other like letters in there that say like, yeah, that look like they're sincere requests. Like, please Santa, I just want a new soccer ball, like please Santa, like, you know, those sorts of things. Yeah, and so all of like as they're doing this, you feel like the ceiling almost begins to like raise in here. The fluorescent lights kind of like go off and some better lighting happens in here. The fire starts to go down, and like a couple of elves sort of come out of nowhere, and like they're like singing and their bells are jingling and stuff like that. And just it feels nicer in here. It feels calmer. It feels like something has changed.
Does the Granch's liver glow just a little bit brighter?
It does, yeah. It's really gross because you can all see it from the outside.
Ah! What is that?
I don't
feel like
it.
you might need to get like that detoxed or
something. Yeah, so I think so the other thing that happens is like, so the doors, the exits that you'd asked about earlier on either side, both those doors swing open.
Oh, okay.
Is the cookie smell any stronger?
The cookie smell is stronger from the rightmost door.
I say we follow those cookies.
Makes sense to me.
I feel like we're about intermission. That's about snack time anyway. So yeah, I think the right door, the cookie door, is where we shall go.
Great.
Okay. All right. So you exit into the cookie door. Yeah. So I guess
real quick, did the elves they stopped burning things?
Yes, they did stop burning things. The bonfire has like gone out.
Very good.
In its place, they've lit the chimney fire that you came down. So that's roaring as well.
Excellent.
They had a fireplace and they put the fire somewhere else.
It's a different fireplace.
Yes. Yeah.
Put it over there with the rest of the fire.
Yes. Yeah. I would have put this over there. Yeah. Yeah. So the cookie room, right? So like as you approach the door, you can see over the top it says, like kitchen, like kitchen and bakery. If you will. Yeah. So you enter into this room, and that cookie smell that you smelled kind of from outside, and that kind of got stronger. As you go inside that room, you start to smell that it's actually mixed with like other smells that are not as good. It's almost like there's like this fishy smell too that's happening as well with it. And then there's like, I don't know, like what's like the worst smell to y'all that's like still food related?
Durian?
Yeah, it's like durian, like a durian.
Like rotten eggs, yeah.
Yeah, rotten eggs, like things like that. And it is just like, you walk in and there is there's a lot of activity happening in here. You see all these elves wearing like white like sous chef and chef's garbs and stuff like that. Of course they're tiny, so it's very cute. They've got a lot of like step stools that they step onto and then off of like that. yeah, they're just like lots of elves yelling like, "Yes, chef!" Like that sort of stuff. And you can see that there's a chef sort of plating up just these like abominations of avant-garde gastro experimentation, like these just horrible things, right? Like, so you smell this cookie smell, but then you walk into just this awful, like, yeah.
I saw a TikTok on this. I think the chef has gone off the rails with molecular gastronomy, and it's like, it's not about cooking anymore. It's about chemistry. There's no heart in it. There's like, this is nothing that anyone's mom would ever recognize as food. And yeah,
who's gonna break to this chef that Michelin doesn't come to the North Pole? Does anyone want to tell them that?
You're picking up what I'm putting down, Danielle. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do? So Gabe, I will tell you, right, since you are the snow creature, right? It's hot in here, like, and it is.
Oh no.
Yeah, it feels very hot. What's interesting is though that you're not melting at all, even in this heat. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Could we see, like, are there ingredients or like spice racks or anything like with like baking, like for good old fashioned baked goods anywhere around?
Yeah, so you were walking through the chef's kitchen, right? So if you're going to want to like look around, you're going to need to make some sort of roll for me to see if you can do that without getting, I don't know, relegated to chopping onions or something like that.
So is the chef also an elf, or is the okay?
Yeah,
there's just one in a chef's hat, and everyone else is in a sous chef outfit, basically.
Yeah, actually, let's say that the chef is actually like an animated nutcracker.
Whoa, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And have we been noticed at all,
No.
or no? Okay.
No, you just sort of entered at this point. Yeah.
I just want to know what kind of monster designs a kitchen for elves that is sized to be ergonomic for fully grown human adults.
Yeah.
Why all the stools? You can make an elf-sized kitchen.
It's a little confusing, I do have to say.
It's-
Maybe Mrs. Claus is usually here? I don't know.
This is kind of cruel, you know? I
Mhm.
mean, like, it's time to unionize.
You know what's really cool though is doing dishes.
Christmas
when
spirit, then union programming, okay?
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, that's true. We can't do both. We
Yeah.
simply can't.
What were you
This
saying, Gabe?
is so awkward because I hate telling people that their food is not for me, and I don't know how we're supposed to approach this, y'all.
I wonder, okay, how many of you have seen the Disney classic Ratatouille?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to ratatouille this.
Maybe we can Ratatouille this Nutcracker chef into
All right.
remembering.
If only you had someone who's very tiny.
It's funny because we've had such litigious, I feel like, representation of all titles up until this point. We've had
Yeah.
Hamlet, something.
Hamilton.
It's like
Oh, that's
Hamilton.
true.
It's
Should
like
we call it-
Shakespeare is gonna come sue.
Should we call
Yeah,
it
when you
Ratatouille?
Yeah.
Ratatouille.
Nutatouille? Is that
Yeah.
not?
Nope.
That's
Nope.
That's a
Nope.
little
Alright.
weird. Maybe not
Not
that.
that one.
Rewind that one. My bad.
Um,
Yeah. When you said, has anyone seen Ratatouille? My face like blanched because that was the first like copyrighted like word that I have heard in a long time.
Incredible.
Yeah.
speaking of blanching,
Okay, so
What
I
are they
heard a couple ideas. So one option is to try to control the magical animated Nutcracker and to do what
Yep.
we want. Joel, you mentioned Bartholomew. You might want to look around to see if there's anything to use in there. Gabe, you said maybe you just go up and tell them that their food is bad.
no, I have a more coy
Okay.
way of
Yeah.
doing that. I think.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think you should never tell someone that their food is bad. But what you can do is you can make good food.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
I would like to look
Yeah.
around for some maple syrup.
Like
Yeah.
like Mouseatouille.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be
Yes.
clear, by ratatouilleing them, I did mean what they do to the food critic at the end. So maybe if we can remind
Oh,
the
okay,
chef
okay.
of like good food
Yeah.
from their childhood.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
if
I think we
nutcrackers have
make, like-
childhoods, I guess.
I think we need to make like a really good like maple sugar cookie.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like get away from all of this like sardine foam.
Maybe
whatever else is happening.
Tune it to the nutcracker a little bit and put some like pecans in there or something. I feel like if we're feeding it to a nutcracker, we got to have some nuts in there.
A pecan sandy.
Ooh, yeah.
I was just gonna put maple syrup on my snow body, but this makes.
I mean, that also sounds nice, honestly.
Well, Gabe, let's
cook
let
it
you
up.
live your
Maple
truth.
syrup snow cone.
It's the Canadian snow cone.
I was gonna say that is how they make maple candy in Canada. So
Yeah. Okay. So Gabe, let's start with you. So you wanted to look around for maple syrup. I think you.
I'm gonna look around for maple syrup.
Okay. Yeah. So you let's see. Yeah, I think you can find this pretty easily. So there is like a rack, like a rack of ingredients sort of off to the side that like clearly have not been touched in quite a while, right? So there's like maple syrup on here. There's like, I don't know, all-purpose flour. There's like white granulated sugar, right? Like it's sort of like staples of a kitchen that like are totally beneath this nutcracker chef. If you will, right? So they're like maybe even a little dusty like that, but you can easily find that, right? So I think just to set the stage, right? So I think there's like the kitchen, there's almost like two sides of it. I think y'all are sort of on one side of it, and then the activity is sort of happening on the other side of it, although there is like a shared sort of table between them, right? So if you can imagine, I'm thinking
maybe we're on the bakery side or something, and that's the kitchen.
I'm thinking that this is sort of like a reality competition TV show setup, right? Like you almost have like two kitchens facing each other, right? At this point.
Yeah.
So just do with that what you will, right? So you were able to find, maple syrup in there.
Is it possible that our kitchen is like more homey and has like sort of the handmade like dust covers for all the appliances and stuff, and the other one's like just steel fluorescent?
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like that detail quite a bit. Yeah, so like this is this is definitely homey. Maybe your oven on this side is like a wood burning oven, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an idea, y'all. Let me know if this is a good idea or if this is a silly idea. I could pretend to be like a representative for some like cookie conglomerate. Like I need to purchase a large volume of cookies, and you all make some like really traditional cookies, and I just like gush about how great they are, and then I try his cookies, and I respond how I respond. That's just going to be what it is. What does that seem like it's going up the right tree? I'm just not sure how like we can necessarily like hold him to remembering that like a ginger snap is really good and like a pecan sandy is really good.
I think that works maybe.
Okay.
I'm also wondering if as I'm helping Gabe collect ingredients, if I can sort of apply what I learned at the chimney, and maybe like as I gather the ingredients, like walk up to the stand mixer and just believe that it'll like make me a perfect cookie dough in like 30 seconds and see if like that like comes out.
Yeah, I guess so you all tell me. So like right, so Gabe found the ingredients. Gabe, your intent was sort of to start making stuff, and it sounds like Brandon, Ed is going to act as sort of like a buyer in this situation to like
yeah.
And Danielle, you want to help out with making cookies as well.
Yeah.
Too. So maybe Danielle and Gabe, can you give me a roll together, right? So you're going to make cookies together.
Okay.
Sounds like you want to start with Christmas spirit. So
yeah, that feels Christmas spirit.
Yeah. So we'll both roll your Christmas spirit numbers, and then we'll take the highest.
Okay.
Okay. Christmas spirit.
Well, my highest was a 2.
Okay.
Am I adding the numbers together or taking them?
Just whatever the highest number is. Tell me what that number is.
That was a 2 as well.
Okay. All right. So this is a partial failure. So you don't get what you want here. Exactly right. So you walk up and you're you're just like, oh, maybe this will just like make the cookies for me. And you can see that like as the magic has sort of gone out of this. I mean, I think you go up and you can see even like on the side of the mixer, it says like Mrs. Claus's mixer, right? Like that. And it is just a standard mixer.
Okay.
Nothing more like that. Bartholomew has something to say.
I wonder if my role in this is in sort of classic patent medicine style. Like, there's got to be one person selling it and one person who's happens to be passing by and
Yes.
tries it and is all of a sudden vivacious because
Yes.
they had this cookie, and it will be
And
the
his
acting.
liver grew 3
His
sizes.
liver grew 3 sizes.
I don't think your liver should grow.
Should not grow that.
No, it's fine.
Grow or glow. These are things the liver should not do.
My severe pecan allergy will be my greatest acting challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Yeah. So that sounds good. What is Alex doing here?
I would, because
You could
I am
sabotage the other side.
I
maybe.
am an elf, so actually
Yeah.
I'm going to go sneak into the other kitchen.
Ooh.
And I'm actually going to try to start not sabotaging them in the sense of like making their stuff worse, but I want to start switching out like some of those weird ingredients for like more standard ingredients. So like you want to put a tin of sardines into these cookies, maybe some peanut butter chips instead, and like
Swedish
start, like,
fish instead. Put in Swedish
Yeah.
fish instead of
put a Swedish fish. And I'm gonna be
Yes,
like tempted
yes.
to talk to the other elves and be like, guys, there's a representative from Meebler Cookies over here. And he wants to buy all of our cookies. We have to do good cookies, and like
Yeah.
try to get some of the other ones like back into making
Mhm.
sweet, good cookies.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so I like this. All right. So I think we'll probably start there. So I think a couple things are going to happen, right? So I think the cooking team, you're going to start cooking some stuff, and I think Joe, Alex is going to go up and start like just joining the line. I think they're all so like into it. They're sweating furiously, like cooking stuff. The Nutcracker chef is just like chomping, almost like he's not even yelling. He's just sort of like this wood on wood like
Lots of
slapping
clacking
sound.
sounds.
Yeah, like he can't actually speak, but he can just kind of like move his arms and point and chomp.
Incredible.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, so you're gonna be doing that, and then Ed and Bartholomew are going to ready. You're gonna kind of like exit and enter back in. I guess what's your okay. Yeah. Okay. So Joe, why don't you go ahead and make this sounds like a naughty roll. You are lying.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a 3.
3. Great. Okay. So you get what you want, but things get a little complicated. I think what happens as you're talking with them is so you're like suggesting like, well, maybe we could do this or that. I think like one of the elves gets like very interested in this and like wants to talk to you about different like flavor profiles and like how to get the appropriate umami and like whatever, like all that, and you're just like trying to like no, just like Swedish fish instead of sardines. That's all I wanted to say. Like
That's what we're doing.
But you do get the like you do start seeding the idea of like we just said Meebler elves are the Meebler cookie company. Is coming. I think like there starts to be like some whispers happening sort of down the line of like oh, Meeblers are coming, like that. Yeah, let's see. So Gabe and Danielle, why don't you give me? I think this sounds like a nice roll, or a nice roll for starting to bake some cookies. Is that your plan? Yeah.
My highest was a 3.
Okay.
Mine was also a 3.
Okay, cool. All right, so you get what you want, but things get a little complicated. I think like there is as you're cooking, you sort of realize that like I don't know, as you're baking, you're like it would be really helpful if we had like a recipe or something to be following here.
Yeah.
Right, like
for
it's
sure.
like, do you really remember how to make and like like the flour? Like we were talking about this earlier. Brandon had mentioned like I don't know, like the humidity is a little bit different, so maybe your cookies aren't going to rise.
I think
Yeah, so-
that this, when I was in chemistry in high school, they actually had us try to make cookies without a recipe. And the thing that went wrong for me in my group was that we broke the mixer. So I think we break Mrs. Claus's stand mixer because the dough is just way too thick.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think as you're doing this, like the Nutcracker like catches like sees you baking over there and kind of like chomps a little bit, but he's too busy to really realize. I think all the other elves are just sort of snickering at you as you're like struggling with that mixer. Gabe, I think so. You had a partial success too. right? I think it's like you're trying to get used to your arms
Yeah.
working, right? You're probably really good at kneading dough, right? Because it's just sort of like up and down motion, but it's a little tricky like that. All right, so
I've just
Ed
got
and Bartholomew.
batter all over my sticks.
Yes.
Oh, here, let me help. Here.
Yeah.
So buttery.
Yeah, so the other, like all the other elves in there, right, they're snickering because they're like, these cookies aren't going to be good, right? Like, yeah, like this is so lowbrow. Like, and they're like, look at that. Like, there's maple syrup.
They're using sugar.
Sugar.
How mundane.
Yeah. Bartholomew and Ed, tell me your approach here.
Ed kind of has his young guns trying to impress the male authority figure in the room, kick up a little bit. You know, Ed is still in school, and so like he definitely has a impress the teacher kind of energy about him. So he wants to like really show Bartholomew what he can do. So Ed strides into the room, all like 5.5 inches tall, and hollers out, "Who's in charge here? Who's in charge?"
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here to order some cookies.
The Nutcracker will kind of turn to you and like chomping like that, and like yeah.
I represent Meebler Glucose & Co., and I'm here to see if you have a suitable product for our new Christmas line. Show me what you've got.
There's a bunch of like whispering like, oh my god, just Meebler like that. Yeah, and I think so the Nutcracker like kind of stops chomping. The arms come down and like pick up this plate of durian and sardine cookies, I guess we've decided on, and like starts to like waddle over and puts them in front of you.
What is this?
I think,
is this a joke? This must be a joke.
Yeah, I think at this point, then we'll just kind of say that So Gabe and Danielle you finished your cookies. So the Nutcrackers crew has put their plate of cookies in front of the Meebler Elf Corporation. What Meebler Gluten? What was it? The
Meebler
Glucose.
Glucose.
Okay,
Glucose
and Co.
Glucose and Co. Has put their disgusting, awful cookies in front, and then you have your cookies, which are not your best cookies, but they're also like normal, normal Christmas cookies.
I might also like root around in the fridge to see if there's any like non-expired milk to try to raise our side a little bit.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of like raw milk in there.
Concerning.
Yeah, raw milk and like I don't know, like various mushroom experiments and stuff in there. But yeah,
never mind. We'll just go with the cookies.
You do find like there is like a I think like a gallon of like half a gallon filled of like eggnog. Like it's still good, still just in the expiration date.
That works. We'll put a glass of eggnog out.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like, if this works, for Bartholomew to have, if possible, found a ragged like Santa hat somewhere in like the detritus. Like maybe he stepped out the mailroom.
Yeah.
And he bursts in. And, he does have the sort of half Santa beard that was tucking out from under his Granch mask that is now somehow a part of his whole thing. And he bursts in and says just, ho, 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 I'm famished and I need cookies. And then he sort of like pauses for applause that is not actually coming there, but it's just baked into his whole deal.
Yeah.
And he like... and so he sees these 2 plates of cookies sitting there. And so what I'd like to do is say, I'd like to try each of these and see how I like them. Like really hamming it up.
Okay.
So what I want to do is try and ratatouille or Mouseatouille this chef in this way to get him to try. If that works.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. So I think let's see. So why don't Ed and Bartholomew give me what are you doing here? You're lying. Yeah, let's do roll both your naughties and tell me what your highest number is.
And I am covering sort of my like glowing liver.
Yeah.
Highest for me was a 2.
Okay.
Highest is a 3.
Highest is a 3. Cool. So you get what you want. I think like everybody sort of looks at Bartholomew a little bit askance, but it's like, well, okay, whatever. Like this is clearly some sort of con. Yeah, and I think so you eat one cookie from each, and then
Yep.
what do you say?
Yeah. So I will try this with this incredible looking, and it's like a foam with like sort of like a wafer box with like a foam in it, and then there's sort of like 2 dashes of, I don't know, like milk reduction and something
some
like that.
Deconstructed components of cookie, like a small thimble of baking powder just by itself.
Yeah.
And then just nutmeg that spells the word cookie like on it.
Yeah. It's actually dirt.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, I take it and I eat it, and my face just I don't actually have to act in this one. My face just contorts like out of, because it's terrible. But but I say this is pretty good. My acting is trying to like not make the Nutcracker feel too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. The Nutcracker has been like leaning in, like, and is right in your personal space, like watching you chew, and as you're chewing, it's like chewing its mouth.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
like clack, clack, clack,
yeah.
clack. So this is similar to how Grandma made, and I've already forgotten that I'm meant to be Santa, and I don't know if Santa has a grandma. So then I say, well, what's this? And there's like a pecan sandy ginger snap like combo. It's probably a little dense based on what it did to the mix.
100%. Yeah.
So I'll take that and I'll say, well, I'll try this. I can't imagine something better. And then I like take a bite, and it is better because it tastes better. But I'm like over the top. It's like and just glowing about this, and oh no, this is grandmother's recipe for sure, and I'll just wash it down with this milk. And I grab the eggnog and like just dash it right down.
Yeah.
My face just like freezes, and there's like eye twitch happening.
It's not bad. Yeah,
never been more refreshed.
Yeah, let's see. So since you all participated in this, right, this is a little ridiculous, but I want you all to roll your Christmas spirit. We're going to take the highest number.
Oh boy.
4.
Okay.
Also 4.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
I got a 2 as well.
Okay, cool.
4 for me.
Right, we got some 4s, which that's all you needed. So I think, at this display, right, it's like you made cookies, you kind of like, you help the elves sort of like expand their mind, and you presented them with like these 2 options in front of them. So they like hear what you're saying, and then you see that like you see one elf sort of cautiously kind of like step up and like grab one of the cookies that you all made, like take a nibble, and like you just see their eyes light up, right? Like you see their eyes light up, and like their like their chef's hat falls off, and you can see their elf hat. Like there, and then like they pass it to someone else, and like it just, this cookie sort of goes around, and the Nutcracker's just sort of like watching it as it goes goes around the whole place, and then finally like there's like a little nibble left over, and they put it inside the Nutcracker's mouth, and he like chomps it up like Cookie Monster. Right? Just crumbs flying everywhere, and just like he kind of like hops up and like spins around, and then like lands again. And like as he lands, like the whole, like there's just like this magical sparkle that goes through all the countertops, finally drop down, right? Everything gets homey inside of here. Right? Like all the elves sort of like lose the ostentatiousness, right? The foam goes away. Like that. And like there's an immediate smell of like cookie, like actually good cookie in the air. As it goes. And there's like one cookie left, right, that they present to you, and one of the elves says like, please bring this to Santa.
Oh, okay.
and I take that moment to say, I take my hat off and say, and we'll have to find him somewhere else because I was acting.
All the elves like stare at you blankly.
There's like a long pause, and then I go, "Oh wow! I'm so fooled!" Just like, because it's so sad that no one else responded.
I clap my sticks together.
Yes.
Incredible.
And applause.
I noticed that the Granch's liver is glowing extra bright from the eggnog.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, cool. So just a quick time check. So we're getting on. So I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. In here. Let's see. All right, you all tell me. So I'll cut this part out, but we're gonna do. We have sort of like time for one more room in here. Would you like to go to the stables, the wrapping room, or the music room? Oh, or the electronics room?
I know a horse girl.
That's
I
true.
feel like we gotta go to the
They're
stables.
probably reindeer, though, to be
Yeah.
clear.
There's some carryover.
There's also an origami person here, so we could also go to
yes,
the wrapping
that's
room.
true.
Yeah.
This is true.
All right. Let's do wrapping room. How about that?
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
There might be horses to wrap.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I sure hope not.
Spit some sick bars about Christmas spirit.
True.
Yeah, welcome to the make some noise rapping portion of the
Yeah, there you go.
okay, yeah. So so like there's like suddenly magic inside of this kitchen for the first time in what probably feels like forever, and you're smelling these cookies. Yeah, and at the far end of the kitchen, another door like opens and you can see some light over there.
All right, we'll take this cookie on a decorative little like plate that has a Christmas tree on it or something, and scurry off towards the room.
Yeah, cool.
And I pause just briefly to sign the autographs that I assume the requests that I assume are coming in.
Yeah.
None of them.
Yeah.
So I scurry after a
Yes.
few.
Yeah, you probably like there's a cookbook that's open in there, and you just like sign that.
Right, yeah, that's right.
I sort of like looks at you like what? Yeah. So as you approach the door, you see on the right above it, it says the wrapping room. So yeah, you enter into this like vast warehouse. Right. There are conveyor belts going everywhere. You see that there's like these giant like claws, like claw machine things going all around. All of the equipment sort of is like stopped though right now. And you can see that like it's stopped, but there's still like stuff on it. There's like a pile sort of at the end. It looks like I don't know, like the conveyor belt had been going and people sort of stopped wrapping and it was just like dumping toys. You see a bunch of like rocking horses in there, and like little toy monkeys with cymbals and hoop and stick, like all these old toys, right? Yeah, old toys in there, and they're just sort of like sitting in this like dilapidated pile in there. You also see that there are some wrapped presents. There's sort of like this big mound of them, like kind of like off in a corner there, and it's, I don't know, like maybe like a 15-foot tall mound of presents. Yeah, what do you do?
But we don't see any creatures, any signs of life. It's just the unwrapped toys and the pile of wrapped presents.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
In here.
Are there any doors leading out of this room?
Yeah, there's one sort of at the far end. It looks like it's very, very locked shut.
I want to see if I can figure out where the controls are for the conveyor belt to see if I can get the machinery. I don't necessarily want to turn the machinery on, but I want to know how to do it when we can figure out like how we need to get this place started up again.
Yeah, go.
Conveyor belt seems to be like a lot like a mini train.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yes, you are a model train enthusiast.
This is the biggest model train I have ever had a chance to play with, and it is like fully kid in a candy store in this moment.
Yes. Yeah. So you're able to find the control room pretty easily, I think, and you go in there. And why don't you give me a model train roll? Let's see what you find.
That's a 3.
A 3, cool. Yeah. So you get in there, and you are a kid in the candy store, right? You are also very, very tiny, and unfortunately, all these levers are very big and very heavy as you're looking at them. But it is like you know this, like this is pieced together from like the Thompson S750 line of levers and knobs and buttons and stuff, right?
You guys, I can do this, but we're gonna have to legitimately mouse a TUI it.
Yeah.
Okay. We can make that work.
Cool. Yeah, so you can see in here, right? And it's very clear that everything has been like hastily shut off, right? In here. Looks like yeah, someone kind of went in and just kind of like jammed everything down. There is like a couple of like red LEDs, right? You can see that there's power here.
I might carefully go up to the pile of wrapped presents and see if there are like name tags on them. Like, are these ready to go, but just in a pile rather than like in Santa's bag or wherever they go, or like, yeah.
Yeah. So this pile, as you approach it, you can see, yeah, there are tags on here.
Okay.
I think like all the tags and stuff on here, like, I don't know, this is gonna sound mean, but they're like older people's names, right? Like think about like your grandparents, right? It's almost like, and you can see that like, yeah, it almost looks like these presents have been sitting here for a while. And as you get closer to that too, you can also see that there's like a little bit of movement to them too, like almost like the pile's breathing.
Guys, I think someone's asleep in the pile.
Oh, maybe they have the key to that door.
Or maybe it is Santa.
Oh, it could be Santa.
Alex, what are you gonna do something, or you just?
I think when Danielle calls that out, I'll come over too. I was kind of eyeing the pile anyways to kind of like inspect the craftsmanship of the wrapping jobs, because I've been wrapping a lot of things this Christmas season.
Roll origami for me.
Yeah. Two.
Okay. Yeah, so you inspect the wrapping job. It looks pretty decent, although it looks like they're using some sort of technique you've never seen before.
Can I take a present out of the pile to try and examine it better?
Yeah, so you go ahead and you grab a present. As you're pulling you grab a present, start to pull it. You realize now that you're like actually touching it that like all of these presents have been wrapped in such a way that they like interlocked with each other. It's like one edge is taped, but it actually ends up being kind of taped to the next present like that. And as you touch it, the whole pile starts to move. And you see this like arm of presents kind of swing out on either side, and this thing kind of like picks itself up and stands. And so like Alex, right, you're kind of tiny elf, and you're just like, you do one of those things like it's like a slow motion, like you just kind of like look up and you keep looking up and keep looking up. Right, and there's just this gigantic like golem of presents looking at you and starts to advance. What do you do?
I know stuff about this if this is related to golems. I don't know if the Christmas part negates the Jewish part, but
no. Yeah. I don't think I can, in the good conscience, ask you to roll for any of that. All right, what do you do?
I believe that traditionally golems are animated with a holy word that's put in their mouth. So I think I would probably try to like see if there's like a mouth area on this creature and see if I can like reach in there and just like take that out.
Okay. Yeah, so the mouth area on this creature you can see, right? I think it also kind of like opens its mouth. It's almost like, I don't know. Like it's a mouth breather, right? So it's got like, it's kind of gaping hole. It is also 20, 50, I don't know. What did I say? It was like a 15-foot tall pile.
Yeah, I think you said like
probably
20...
30 feet up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, 30 feet up or so into the sky, but you can see it up there.
Ed, how's your flight going? I might need your help.
Great. I'm gonna grab Danielle and try to pull her back away from the big monster.
Yeah, I think you can pull her away and like at the right moment too. So while Danielle's trying to get a look inside the inside this gift's mouth, not
yeah,
yeah. There's like a big like foot of presents kind of comes and like lands right where Danielle was, and some of the presents like fly off and like break open, and you see see like action figures kind of spreading everywhere.
Is this a horse gift? Because you shouldn't look a horse gift in a mouth.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking for.
I have heard that.
Yeah, let's. I want to check in with Gabe. So what is Gabe doing?
Who has the cookie? This isn't important. Sorry, I was just thinking about who had the cookie.
I would have handed the cookie to you, but you don't really have hands.
It could just be stuck in my side. It's not important. I'm just going to assume
I wedged the cookie into the side of your snowman form.
Great. Back to the gift monster. Gabe's assumption is that the way that you defeat a pile of presents is you unwrap them.
Okay.
Ooh,
but
that's
it would be naughty to unwrap someone's gift if it's their name and not your name. So I feel like if I do try and attack this monster, I'm gonna roll with naughty.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. So Gabe's gonna hop over.
Hop gracefully, I think.
Yeah.
And wrap the presents with your stick hands.
Yeah, just get my stick hands ready and see if I can get any of these presents. What's it? Come at me, bro.
Yeah, that sounds great. So
what
Gabe
do your
Snowman.
stick hands unwrap, friend?
Yeah, go ahead and roll naughty. Let's see what happens.
That is a 3.
Cool. Yeah, 3. Yeah, so you like kind of like as it's kind of like stomping, right? And it's stomping around. You manage to reach out and like kind of grab something and start to unwrap it. I think it growls at you, and you're able to kind of like rip apart like kind of the first layer on its leg, if you will.
Can I say I snag a ribbon? I just love the idea of grabbing onto a ribbon.
Yeah, I think you grab a ribbon. You grab a ribbon, and if you want to, you can hold on tight to it, right? Because it's going to start lifting its foot up.
Let's see what's stronger. My stick arms attached to my snow body or this gift monster made out of tape.
I don't like this version of if we die in the game, do we die in real life?
Yeah.
If your arm gets ripped off as a snowman, what happens in real life?
I think I can put it back.
That's true. Let's just replace it before you turn back into a Gabe.
Well, you are quite magical, so I think you were able to kind of just hitch a ride up on this thing at this point. Yeah, so I think Gabe, so it kind of like picks up its foot, and like you come along with it, and I think you can, you're sort of like in air at this point, probably 10 feet off the ground, as it sort of reaches its head down and is looking straight at you. Do you say anything to it?
No, I just stare at it with my dead coal eyes.
Roll metal for this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just like being in a mosh pit. Maybe.
I got a 4. Yeah, this is exactly like that.
Yeah. You stare at it. It stares back at you, and it backs down first, and kind of like makes like a little bit of a whimpering sound. Whimpering sound, and like it will put you down and sort of like take a couple steps back.
Okay. Do I have a present from this encounter to unwrap?
Yes, you do have a present from this encounter. Roll nice for me. I just want to see what your present is.
It's a 4 as well.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. So the present that you come away with is it is the one present that looks like it wasn't wrapped here, if that makes sense, right? So it's like, it looks like, it's a different wrapping paper, kind of a different style of ribbon. And you can see that the name on it, sort of as you land and you're looking at this thing, the name on it says Santa.
Oh, cool. I hop desperately back over to wherever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where people ended up.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty scattered.
You're all pretty scattered.
Okay.
Yes. So you have this present that is addressed to Santa. But there is still a very angry wrapping paper present golem.
So you said there was a pile of presents with names that were clearly from folks that were a bit older.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the golem, or is that separate pile of presents?
That's the golem.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because what I was hoping to do was open presents to look for like what an older person might have had on their wish list, which is like a cowboy outfit. Like,
Yeah.
So I might be able to find a lasso or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You could borrow the ribbon that Gabe just
Yeah.
used.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was going to try and lasso one of these legs using my ever growing Granch Christmas spirit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Roll Christmas spirit. This sounds
Granch Christmas and other winter holiday spirit.
Yeah.
All right. So what is that roll? Sorry, that is a Christmas spirit.
Well, yeah. I guess. Well, you're trying to. This is almost
That
like
might
an
be
attack.
naughty.
This is naughty. Yeah. This is really naughty.
Well, I guess it's either. So let's see. 2 4s.
2 4s. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, you manage to wrap it up and pull, and it falls down to the ground, and everything kind of like shakes at that point. Yeah, so it's now prone.
Incredible.
Did I hear any Legos? That's an important.
Yeah, I mean, you
Present
heard
shaking
you heard
sound.
all sorts of stuff. I think as it lands, you hear like a cacophony of like, I don't know, like toy xylophones and pianos and like a bunch of RC cars turn on inside.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I think now that it's prone, I might try to run up and try my plan again. Now that it's maybe within arm's reach, and just like put my hand into its mouth and see if I can pull out whatever magic slip or word was in there.
Okay. Yeah.
And hope that is what is animating it.
Yeah. That sounds great. What's your hobby again?
Horsemanship?
Horsemanship?
Maybe I should have done the lassoing.
Yeah, maybe you should have done the lassoing. Yeah.
Sometimes
It's a
you do need to
gift horse.
dislodge things from animals. Yes. It is
Actually,
a
that's
gift
true.
horse.
Like putting
The
a
horse-
bit in a horse's mouth is
Yeah.
pretty similar,
let's-
probably.
Let's say that this is that. Yeah, so you can go ahead and roll.
Okay.
That. Yeah.
There's an entire corner of the internet screaming that we have clearly never been around horses.
I have bridled a horse, so I can
Okay.
say that it's not dissimilar. That's a 4.
Cool. All right, a 4. Yeah, so you're able to reach inside of its mouth. Inside of its mouth. I would say this is probably a scary moment for you, right? Like this is
Yes,
it's like this
for
huge
sure.
gaping maw, right? It's like like you're reaching in, you kind of rummage around and you pull. It's like it looks like a tag, right? Like you pull out of a present almost, but this one's like glowing, right? And so the holy word, the power word, right? That's animating this thing. I think you read it off and it's just a phrase and it says like, the reason for the season is not just gifts. And like as you read that out loud, the whole thing like falls apart and it's just like wrapping paper.
Gotcha.
Strewn, like wrapping paper strewn everywhere. And like, and like presents and boxes and stuff like that. I think, and then as that happens, you see actually from like all the corners, like all these like very scared looking elves kind of peeking out, like, oh, thank you. That was terrifying. And they immediately run and they start to like turn back on all the machinery. I think Ed, if you're still in there, it's amazing, right? Like you're just watching like masters of their craft.
This is the greatest thing that I ever could have imagined. I grew up dreaming of being a civil engineer, and now I feel like I get to live it. It's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, one of them will note that you're looking at it and like say, "What do you want to make the claw do the claw thing?"
I can claw the claw.
Yeah, you can claw the claw. And they point to like there's like a switch that's way too big for you, and then it waves its hand and it becomes smaller.
This is incredible, and Ed is like the little kid who gets to ride in the giant construction equipment,
Yes.
like on a construction worker's lab. Is just like beaming, glowing with happiness, just like This is scratching all of the little kid itches that he has.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. So you're able to do that. Yeah. So then the other thing that happens, right? As everything kind of gets back going, and there's wrapping and presents and stuff happening like that, is so the door at the far end opens.
I'll say, glad we could help. Do you know where Santa is? I think we have a cookie for him, but then I look around and realize I don't have it, and look over at Gabe and hope that Gabe still has the cookie.
I hold up the gift and then I point to the cookie in my snow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We got more.
Yeah. So you've got the letter, you've got the cookie, you've got the present, just sort of jammed in.
Yeah.
That's great.
We're ready to conjure.
Yes. Yeah, so you ask where Santa is, and they one elf kind of comes up with a little bit of trepidation and says, he's over there, but he hasn't come out in 364 days.
Oh,
really
boy.
Worried. I'm really worried. Showtime's in 20 minutes, and I don't know if we're going to make it.
We'll do our best. Showtime sounds like your thing, Bartholomew.
Yeah. Yes, this is my moment, friends. And then lower my head, close my eyes. Curtains. And there are no curtains, but I say it's curtains.
Everybody's far too busy.
Metaphorical curtains.
Yeah.
And I say, and what do we see at the door at all? Is it?
You can, if you're going to approach it, you can go in that. Yeah.
And I say, I think this is our final scene, and then I dramatically walk, and then I look behind, and nobody's following. And then I say, I think this is our final scene. Then I continue.
I get the
walk.
cue, and then I start walking.
Okay. Right. I'm still making the clog open. Yeah.
This
so
is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. So you enter into this last room, and as soon as you all step through, the door slams shut behind you, and you can see inside of here. It you can hear outside. There's kind of this swirling wind sound. And it looks like you're inside of the log cabin from the start. The start of this, it's the size of that. There's the chimney with a fire just barely burning in there, putting off not enough heat even to heat up this room. And on the opposite end of the room, there's just one big chair. And on the opposite wall, there's just this array of screens up there. And you see that someone on there is just playing Fortnite. They're just playing Fortnite and not very well. They keep on dying, going back to the lobby, dying, going back to the lobby like that. And there's also all these little screens that show sort of all these rooms full of elves going around and doing stuff like that. So you can see the mail room, you can see the wrapping room, you can see the kitchen, you can see all these other rooms. These rooms here, and you hear from there's a chair there in front of the TV, and you can't see who's sitting in it, but you just hear this person say, "Ho, ho, ho."
Oh no. Alex, didn't you say something about knowing about being sad?
Yeah.
Can you help other people with that?
Sometimes. I'll very tentatively go walk up to get a better view of the person sitting in the chair, who I'm presuming is Santa. Just be hey, Santa?
Yeah. Santa will kind of blink and kind of look over you and say, "Alex? Ho."
Hey, we've I know a big thing for you is delivering all the gifts for everyone else, but we've come here to bring you some gifts, and I'm gonna kind of gesture Gabe forward.
Yeah.
I'll help Gabe pull things out of his snow form as he approaches.
Okay, yeah.
It's more of a delivery mechanism.
Gift for Santa? Yeah. I haven't gotten a gift in years.
You get 3 now as we hand over the cookies.
We made one for you, which was the cookies, and then we're just delivering these other 2.
You made me cookies? These past few years, everybody just buys Oreos or something and just puts them out. My elves have stopped making good ones. It's not one of those experimental cookies, is it?
No. We didn't have we didn't have a recipe, so I guess technically you could call it experiment, but it's traditional flavoring.
It's just butter and sugar.
It is mostly butter, yeah.
Yeah. Did you bake it from the heart?
Yes.
Maybe more the liver.
Oh, the liver.
No, the Granch was not involved in the baking of the cookies.
Please no. Yeah. So Santa takes a bite of that, and you see like a twinkle start in his eyes. And from behind you, the fire starts to get rage a little bit more. It starts to become warm in here, and you can see on the screens where the elves are. The elves are working, that everything gets a little bit brighter, and there's more activity and stuff happening.
Does he start winning at Fortnite?
Yeah. He turns off the PlayStation 5.
Wow.
That's one way to
Right.
Yeah.
That's the most reliable way to win at Fortnite.
Yes. Yeah. Right. The only way to win is to not play. Yeah. He says, well, thank you. That was delicious, but I don't know. I don't know about Christmas this year.
What do you mean you don't know about Christmas this year? Christmas is real, whether you believe in it or not. It happens all across the world, whether you're there or not. But there's all of the people all over the world who want to celebrate it with you.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't normally even celebrate, and I am very convinced Christmas is real after this whole thing.
I don't. But does anyone? I don't know. Does anyone really remember what it's like to really give a gift to someone else? All these kids these days, they just seem to want Fortnite skins.
Well, Alex found this really great letter.
Letter?
Yeah, I'll grab the letter and hand it to him and be like, kids are still writing you physical letters asking for physical, non-digital gifts.
Yeah, he'll look at you skeptically and he'll put it, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. This is sweet. And as he's reading that, the cabin itself sort of seems to grow. And you see that the walls sort of start to fall down, and you can see, as you look behind you, you see that the wrapping room is actually connected to the kitchen and the mail room and all these other places where elves are making toys and things like that. And it's just this larger space without any doors. I mean, a letter is one thing, but I don't know. Could I really do it again? Maybe we'll just skip this year and we'll try again next year.
So Bartholomew stands up and says, Santa, my gift to you was going to be the final scene from A Christmas Tale. But I've been thinking, my liver has been growing and slightly painful. And I was reflecting on the way that we got here. And Santa, the way that we got here was a small child gave up their Christmas Eve with their family and their V-Bucks and their iPods, I think. And rather than be there with their presents, they came to find us because they said the magic had run out and they needed Christmas this year. Isn't that something?
I'm not trying to backstage direct, but wasn't that an elf and not a child?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely.
Just.
I wasn't actually paying close attention.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't learned my lines from the night before. But,
if you want to do over at the last scene here, and I'll give him the gift that we found that says to Santa for him to present to Santa.
Yes, and then the elf came and said, "Give this to Santa," and I give it to Santa.
A gift for Santa.
We actually wrestled a giant gift monster for that.
That is true.
Also,
but an elf did, so I guess could have given it. I don't know who that's from. It doesn't say. Does it say?
You wrestled my gift monster? Is he okay?
He is de-animated for now. but I
Oh.
presume you could reanimate him.
Yes, we will need him.
Apologies.
Yeah. Yeah. So Santa will take the gift and he'll read like to Santa, and he'll open it up, and inside is a pair of mittens, hand knit mittens, and he pulls them on his hands and he says, "Oh, mittens! I've needed new mittens for a decade. Needed new mittens for a decade. This is wonderful. Oh my goodness! I think there's still time. Maybe there's still time." I would like you to all give me a Christmas cheer roll to see if you can get Santa to do his thing.
Double 4s.
I got
4.
a 4.
3.
Jeez, okay.
Wow.
That was a resounding success, an absolute success. Yeah, Santa will stand up and like knock over his chair. Knock over his chair as he's standing up. He'll say yes, and he'll clap his hands, and like there's like he claps and it like kind of reverberates through everything, and you hear all the elves start to sing at once about Christmas and there's lights going everywhere, and out from somewhere all the reindeer come clopping in. I think, Danielle, this is like probably a happy moment for you.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, seeing all these. And Santa will say, there is time. We'll do it. Thank you so much for coming to help break me out of my stupor. We'll give this Christmas thing one more try and see how it goes. But I have a question for you. Do you want to come with me tonight? Or would you like to go back home?
Are these mutually exclusive options? Like, do I get to go home if
So
I
Do we get to go home
come with
after?
you?
No, you have to either stay here or go home. It's kind of part of the magic.
Like forever?
I mean, forever is a long time, but for quite some time.
I still live with my parents. I think they'd be kind of worried if I just disappeared on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same.
Hanukkah starts tomorrow, and I also do have to take care of Midnight, my horse. So
Yeah.
You have a horse named Midnight? That's sick.
I do. Yeah. You can come see it sometime if you want.
I would love that. Yeah, I'm not going with you, Santa, but I wish you the best.
Bartholomew is reflecting back on his studio apartment with like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree and his career, and he said, "Santa, I will go with you."
Oh
Oh my god, the best understudy gig.
Yes.
The perfect understudy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What does Alex say?
Alex was like halfway onto the sleigh before people started asking questions, and then went, "Oh no, I'm also in school. My parents will not be happy if I disappear. I've got to go home."
Yeah. Oh, that's all understandable. Bartholomew, I'm so happy that you're going to stay with me, and I think you'll find this to be the true role of a lifetime. And then Santa will say, I will give you a ride home if you want. And so the elves are sort of scurrying around. There's a giant sack that is pulled towards Santa, and his sleigh sort of comes out of nowhere, and they start to hook up all the reindeer, things like that. And you get in, and then Santa beckons you to come in, and as you get in, it seems like the sleigh just kind of expands to make sure that there's room, so you're all sitting side by side on this bench. And you go with Santa on this night, and you get to see what he does, and you see at every house that he goes to, it seems like a little bit more joy comes back to him as he remembers, maybe this isn't all so bad. Even the kids that just want Fortnite skins, they can have them. This is still a good part of the holiday. And so the night goes on, and despite the impossibility of getting to every house in one night, Santa manages to do it. You manage to stay awake the entire time, and it doesn't even seem like it takes all that much time to get to every house in the world. And Santa drops you all off, back at the mall, back to your cars, back to your real lives. Bartholomew waving on the sleigh.
Farewell, my friends.
Go.
Bye.
Yeah.
See you at the cast party.
Yeah. And you land, and it's just, it is, you land, and it's only been the 20-30 minutes, that it was since you left. Yeah, and I think there's kind of a gentle snowfall that starts to come down as well, and as you can see Santa kind of flying in front of the moon, and you hear this one last ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. All right, we will end there.
Wow.
Oh, that was excellent. Oh my god.
And the real enemy was ageism.
Yeah, well, thank you all so much for playing. I really appreciate it. Sorry that we went a little bit long, but I think it was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll wrap us up real quick, and then we can chit chat after the recording is done. But yeah, cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for playing. I've been Chris Salzman. This has been the Roll for Topic Holiday Special, the actual play of what did I call this thing? I just forgot the name of it. Other Duties as Assigned, Saving Christmas. Yeah, thank you all so much for listening. I hope you had a really happy holidays. And remember, if your players are having fun, you're a great GM.